Before the show, we were actually talking about how we're all screwed, Terminator style.
To be fair, we're saying nobody's going to have a job because of AI, and it's going to be total human annihilation, and Anu said that wasn't that bad.
Like, yeah, people are still. I don't know why I was arguing with someone on Threads as to why Kamala shouldn't have been president or shouldn't be president. Like 10 this morning, and it was that conversation that just made me go, yeah, we're done. Let's just end it all. No one is making common sense anymore.
Total human annihilation in 10 years.
Yeah.
Talking Terminator style. So
Terminator, the world.
The aliens are flying over and going. Yeah, maybe not. We're gonna. There's nothing to.
I'm just saying again. It's a good thing Morty's not here because it'd be totally off the rails. Totally off the rails. The last day without Morty. Enjoy it. Like the video. Subscribe because the rest is just going to get worse from here.
We've been very much on the rails. That's what we've been doing. No jokes. No making fun of people. It's just been very on the rails.
Just telling the truth. That's all we do. About telling the truth. I know you got some interesting stories, Anu.
Yeah. So Microsoft has decided to max out their AI capabilities.
And Greg?
And Google adds customer matched enhanced matching. What a sentence.
Wow. And then Google explained why they do or do not announce Google search updates, and it seems like the favicons are disappearing for many people. All right, Anu, whenever you are ready. Stay off of politics. No politics.
No politics, absolutely no politics. Microsoft, just over a year and a half after Google announced their AI Max capabilities, Microsoft have, joined the AI Max party. Nab Hopkins announced that on her profile yesterday, saying that there's going to be a rollout of AI Max globally. They're coming out strong, coming out hard. Everybody will be part of the party. They're bringing a new suite of AI-powered targeting, creative, and landing page capabilities to search campaigns. And similar to what Google are doing, the capabilities will include search term matching, text customization, final URL, expansion. For their controls, Microsoft is emphasizing that automation doesn't mean advertisers have to surrender all control. The AI Max launches will launch with brand controls, including term exclusions for text asset generation, as well as reporting URL rules and ad group level settings, so that you can kind of set some rules to how it shows. In terms of Google Ads imports, which is a known feature of Microsoft for a long while now, AI Max settings will also carry across when advertisers want to import eligible search campaigns into Microsoft advertising. And if an imported search campaign already has the AI Max features enabled, Microsoft will preserve those corresponding settings. One notable exception, AI Max search campaigns that originated from upgraded dynamic search ads will be converted back into DSA campaigns because DSA campaigns are still sticking around for Microsoft, even though they're going away in Google. You'll be able to still see the DSA campaigns on Microsoft advertising while the company develops their own additional functionality. So AI Max Microsoft Ads is here. We're here.
I love how they all, like, whenever they talk about these new AI features, they say how in control you are. I mean, that's what the Terminator did. You're all in control. You control us. But then all of a sudden they just stab you in the back and take control and destroy your world.
The playground's on fire.
It's on fire. Anyway, we got some enhanced matching coming along.
Yeah, so this was spotted by Joey Bidner, a great follow over on LinkedIn. And there's a setting for customer match within your account settings. And you have the option to turn on smart bidding, optimized targeting, enhanced matching. And the enhanced matching is a newer element. It is something that is a toggleable feature, so you can turn it on or off. And apparently enhanced matching will expand your audience reach with your consented user lists. And Google says, we will match your consented users with publishers' consented users where available. Not a ton more information, but Joey said some of the documentation says it's supposed to help with match rates on customer lists, which is something he's focusing more on. So it sort of disguises that. But it also said it's expanding your matches. So I think it's a little too early. There's not a ton of documentation. Can reach out and maybe figure out a little bit more on this.
Yeah. I reached out to Joey about 24 hours ago asking, could you give us the link to the Learn More link? I would like to know what it says there. And he didn't respond. Joey, respond. I want to see the Learn More document.
I would say that there is generally some matching issues, especially when you're running something like B2B. When you have a customer list from people that have purchased, say, office supplies, generally speaking, it's not the same as what they might be using as their Google account that they're looking in. Yes, there are people that use Workspace, but not everybody. Maybe this could help to kind of bridge the gap there and say, well, we know that it's last name, first name, phone number. Then cool, we're going to put these emails together where it might not have before. So I think there could be some value here. And also, there were a couple comments that didn't seem too optimistic with what it's looking like. Alec Perlman said, I've been testing this feature with a campaign that runs exclusively exact and phrase matching. Frustratingly, Search Query Report has been showing some pretty wildly inappropriate matching. Have since turned it off. I have no idea how that would impact search queries. Absolutely none. In my mind, those are two different things, church and state. You have search terms, and then you have a matching list. And if you are displaying to a matching list, hypothetically, if you turn enhanced matching on, the pool would become bigger that you can then show those ads to, but it should not, in my mind, impact anything to do with any type of query matching. I will say just in general, phrase match is continuing to, I'd say, degrade with close variants, and that could just be something that seems like it's correlated, but isn't really causative.
Right. If we only had that Learn More link, we would know a lot more. Anyway, all right, and then Google's John Mueller chimed in while I think he's on vacation this week, and he said, he basically explained why they don't announce all Google search updates. So as you know, I cover a lot of unconfirmed Google search updates, and Google doesn't confirm any, and most of them, 90+% of them, they do not confirm. And John Mueller basically says we have lots of systems that update continuously. Most of them update automatically. But when we make bigger, broader changes to the systems, we try to announce them so it's easier for folks if they see big jumps in their metrics. That said, it's sometimes hard to find a good balance between giving some transparency and causing unnecessary worries. And Google's given this line many, many times. This is not new, but basically Google has to decide when they want to announce an update, when they don't want to announce an update. Some people say, only when Google announces an update, there is an update, but Google has confirmed many times that Google does smaller core updates, doesn't announce them. Google does smaller updates constantly and does not announce them. It's the bigger updates that Google defines to be bigger in terms of when they actually announce it. So I figured I'd just reiterate that because people sometimes get confused. Like if there was no announcement, there was no update, but that's not true. Google even confirmed that there are updates without them confirming them. If that makes sense. Confirming, not confirming. And then also we saw a significant spike in complaints around favicons disappearing from the Google search results. This is starting around Monday before the spam update actually was released. But it seems like something happened where favicons, not for everybody, but for, a number of sites have started to just disappear. And Google's been showing the default favicon. I have a screenshot, or I'll share in the video of what that looks like with and without a favicon. But a lot of people are complaining about this. I did reach out to John, but again, he's on vacation, so I'm not sure if he probably pass it along because I am seeing some evidence that it's actually improving. So hopefully this will improve soon. But if you did notice your favicon disappeared, you're not alone. And Glenn Gabe chimed in well, and he said numerous times, we should have a way of testing this in Google Search Console. Probably the URL inspection tool should tell you if your favicons, technically valid or not. This way, if it's on your side or not your side, because tons of people make mistakes, technical mistakes with their favicons, and they don't know how to fix it. And Google could easily create a tool that makes it easier for people to understand if it's on their end or if they need to fix something, but they don't. So I'm not sure why, to be honest, because it's something that Google displays in the search results. It's something that you technically add to your website, and it's something that could be very easy for Google to actually communicate to the webmaster community or the site SEO community around. So I wish they would actually add that feature to Google Search Console.
It's brutal. We had somebody rebrand, and it could not get the proper new brand favicon, post rebrand.
Takes a long time.
It took a long time. It took a lot of work. It's super, super annoying. And Barry, I do have the notes on enhanced matching for customer match if you want me to pull that up right now.
That link, pull it up.
Okay, you'll get the link in 1 second, but it does seem that I was correct. So for the enhanced matching for customer match, I found it. It was not on my class, but I found another client at our company here. So the benefits are platform compatibility. You can upload email addresses that aren't associated with Google accounts. Called that one. Improved match rates. Yep. More effective ad targeting. You just have more match rates is what this is saying. So it's all email addresses, not just Google. It says how it works is that your list and the publisher's list are sent into the digital space. The matching process happens inside there. And then neither you or the publisher can see the pie that is in there. And then they said there's a few different domains that can be used with enhanced matching. So this doesn't seem like it's going to be critical for something like Google. It seems like, these are kind of partner websites, display network type stuff. Yahoo, Live, Outlook, Web.de. These are only just some examples here. So again, I don't think it's going to be massive, but you can then say, hey, this on Yahoo is actually our customer if you want.
Awesome. Nice find. I'll add it to the story so people can actually find it as well.
Greg,
Thank
can
you
you
so
send me
much.
the link as well? Sorry.
You bet. You guys will both get it in 1 second.
We're going to send a link to everyone, not Mordy, but everyone else. Anyway, we're back next week with more It's New. Make sure to check out the PPC Live channel, the Marketing O'Clock channel. They release content all the time. I think Greg only releases content on Mondays, but sometimes splits that up into multiple shorts and stuff. So lots of stuff on that channel as well. Do not go to Mordy's channel, whatever. Do not do it. You don't want to hurt yourself. But he'll be back next week. Everyone have a great weekend. Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye.